Subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe.
So I had to reset up my whole studio. See, I have it like it's always in a state of pile because
Right.
I'm waiting to get like I'm gonna get some electricity hooked up over here, and I'm waiting on the guy to come next weekend.
I must say that the current pile doesn't have quite the echo that the
Well,
other
I
pile.
added another blanket over here hanging up.
Yeah.
A blanket over here. It's high tech stuff going on right now. And I'm sitting on two pillows because I couldn't get my tilt to work on my camera. So I just grabbed some pillows.
That's okay. We'll bring it to you.
Well, low tech solutions for high tech problems.
What I used to say is, like when people would ask what the budget was on the film I was working on, I said, we're the low end of high finance.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, well,
Army of Darkness. Oh wait, I got to get my voice on. Like, I want to read this. I'm gonna do it. Let me see. I got to get in my voice. Okay, here we go. A sardonic hardware clerk is accidentally transported to 1300 AD, where he must retrieve the Necronomicon. Is that right? Necronomicon? Necronomicon. Necronomicon. I'm trying to go deeper, but I can't. And battle an army of the dead, so he can return home. I just sound like I have like a asthma attack or something. Give me some.
Yeah, you know what?
A sardonic hardware store clerk is accidentally transported to 1300 AD, where he must retrieve a Necronomicon and battle an army of the dead so he can return home. I think that sounds better.
There you go.
They should do movie voiceovers like that. Hey, this dude walks into a bar.
I don't know that was deeper, but it was definitely less healthy.
No, I was trying to go for unhealthy. That's what I was.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, yeah, we actually meant to do this a long time ago, but we never did.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. What really surprised me is how long I went without seeing this film, because this film is so much the epitome of Sam Raimi. I mean, it's not necessarily. You want to say that the horror part of the two of Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. But here's the thing that you really have to understand is these guys are all geeks. I mean, I know them all. I've worked with them all.
Well, you worked with Sam Raimi, right?
I've worked with Sam Raimi.
On Hercules or something?
Yeah, I've worked with Rob Tappert, and I've worked with Bruce Campbell, right?
Right.
And these guys are the core of, and Doug Leffler, who's a complete dick. Those are the
Don't
guys
hold back.
Yeah. Like, what's he gonna do to me now, right? Those guys are all the core of Renaissance films, and Renaissance films are the ones that did those movies, and they did a lot more. They did Mantis, and they've done acres and acres of things, but deep down at their core, these guys are like the original movie geeks, right? They like really know film, and they discuss film, and they discuss all the thing that they're particularly into is like the old effects, right? And oh my God, this is just like one 50s or 60s or 40s. You had stop motion.
Oh yeah, a lot of it.
you had miniatures, you had foreground miniatures, you had glass painted mats, you had every old style of and even the film itself was very it was Sinbad is what it was. I mean, yeah. It really was. I mean, yeah, it was. You put the guy in the middle of it. Foreground miniatures. I mean, all the miniature, all the miniature, miniature Bruce Campbells and all the rest of that. A lot of that was done with foreground miniatures and stuff. And I gotta tell you, it was an absolute treat. I mean,
Well, the
I-
second one was kind of a teaser of this, I think, because they were trying to kind of do a comedy horror, but this was over the top, which is what I liked, which is what I love about this, and I loved all the effects.
The thing is this one obviously they didn't have to worry about scaring you.
No.
You know, that's the difference between this and the Evil Dead. Evil Dead, they got to use all the old techniques that were still wrapped up in a horror film. But this one was the Sinbad adventure. I mean, that's totally what it was.
And the first one was actually really sound heavy, like a lot of sound.
Right. It's probably makeup for what they lacked in the visuals.
But you can tell this is all Bruce Campbell, right? I mean, he was one of the writers for sure. I mean,
oh yeah.
But Sam Raimi, this shows his like skills at like martial arts and all the crazy like flips and stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The whole 9 yards of it all had to do with that, looking at an homage to the 60s adventure films, to back to like every possible technique. I mean, I love this castle standing there.
The castle, the shot of the castle looked ridiculous, by the way. Like
it does. It looks absolutely ridiculous. But you know what? It looked like
see where they cut it.
It looked like every castle that you ever saw.
You can see the razor line, like
exactly. But it was all done in good fun.
Right. Well, the only thing I think they didn't really pull off very well was the film noir kind of feel. Because it started off with him like, I'm being dragged to my death. It wasn't always like this. It was trying to do the detective voice kind of.
I agree, and it wasn't there for it. Yeah, no.
But I loved his Bruce Campbell's early version of Jim Carrey. It's like I remember like you're a goody two shoes. Like that reminded me so much of Jim Carrey, and I think this was 92. This is before Pet Detective, so I think Jim Carrey's still Bruce Campbell's stuff.
Well, you say the thing about Bruce Campbell is I don't think that he's ever been afraid to like break his character. Right?
No. Well, actually, what's great about this is it reminds me of a couple of my favorite movies are Princess Bride, Holy Grail, where it's just ridiculous crap basically, but it's hilarious.
Right. And they did it so well. I mean, I have to say, the thing is I think that the Evil Dead and the Evil Dead 2, and this was well known at the time to be the next in the series, right? I think that it got a bad rap at the time.
Well, this picked up right where the other one left off. I mean,
right, but then it went a completely different direction.
It took a left turn.
I mean, I mean, people that were there to see, because Evil Dead 2 was Evil Dead 1. I mean, it was just remaking Evil Dead 1 and actually having a budget.
Well, I think I actually remember like Siskel and Ebert. I remember the critics not really liking it back when it came out. I remember because I think I was in high school when it came out. Right. Must have been. But I remember watching the reviews of it. They were like Siskel and Ebert.
They ripped it apart, but I think that part of it was that they all expected, something like the Evil Dead.
Well, what they would say, a serious critic back then would probably say the things that I like about this, they didn't like about it. Like it had no character development. They didn't care what happened to. I didn't care what happened to any character. It's beyond stupid. The lines, the story's stupid. The lines are stupid. But it was just a really fun movie to watch.
Yeah,
who cares?
It was just a really funny movie to watch. I mean,
but who cares about all that stuff?
Yeah,
that's why you watch The Holy Grail, for example.
Exactly. You know what it was. You're right. Absolutely. It was Sam Raimi doing a Monty Python sketch.
This actually reminded me a lot of Peter Jackson, like the.
It really did, didn't it?
Like Bad Taste. Yeah.
The feel of the effects and the feel of the beats. The thing that's great about it is that there's a certain feel for after the beats of how you edited in that was it was Peter Jackson-ish. And you have to remember that this was probably about the time that they would have become aware of Peter Jackson, because remember, almost at this time, this was when Peter Jackson was making Dead Again. Dead Alive.
Okay, Dead Alive.
Dead Alive. Dead Alive, and like a year later, I was there working working in New Zealand with Renaissance, you know. So it was a year, 2 years later. I mean, what year was this made?
This was 92. So it
This
was,
is
I
92,
mean, we were around 90, 91, I guess, when they made it, or when they
right?
shot it.
And I was in New Zealand in '93. So you know, this was right. These were fresh wounds.
Well, I mean, Sam Raimi, did he direct some of the Hercules series? I don't know. I get all confused with all the different Herculeses because there's movies and there's TV movies and there's like the series.
He produced all the Kevin Sorbo stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He produced all of it. Bruce Campbell starred in some bits and pieces of it. Rob Tapert was the executive producer of all of that. And the thing is that's the thing. This is the thing that they were doing right before they. So this was the big merging of Raimi and Weta and Peter Jackson. All of them came together like a year after this. So if you're looking at who was influencing who, you know, it's probably just one damn thing after another.
And they must have loved you because you were into the old effects, doing stuff the more fun way than just computerized.
Yeah, I mean I was there for it.
The visual effects. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Actually, I'm anxious to watch. I've been avoided it, but not really on purpose. But Ash versus Evil Dead, the TV series, I haven't watched any of that. And there's actually a couple Evil Dead movies coming out in the future, by the way. I was looking at the IMDb for Sam Raimi. He's working on a couple of Evil Dead projects coming out.
Oh, there you go. I totally enjoyed this picture.
I did too. Yeah, well, I had no doubt that. I mean, I loved it so much. I was like, "There's no doubt that you would like it." So I didn't have any doubt about it.
I kept thinking to myself that this is the ultimate nerd film. That's what it is.
What's funny is I think I liked it. I think people might disagree with what I'm about to say, but I think I like this more than the second one. I mean, I think some people like the second one more.
I loved the second one.
I think I enjoyed this one more. Actually, honestly,
I love the second. I have to tell you that the thing, there is this one thing about the second one that is just, to me, was just brilliant. Was when everything in the room is like become animated. Yeah. And they do the wide shot of the room, and absolutely everything in that little shack is moving. And for some reason, that just tickled the living hell out of me.
I thought you were going to talk about the ballerina skeleton. the skeleton doing ballet.
Yeah, but you know what? That harks back to Harryhausen. You know that. And it's not like they didn't touch on it again, because how about the creature that came down into the castle and was flying, and it was like, it was such a true Harryhausen move, but it kind of felt like occasionally they even they added one more frame in, one more, it's because the motion was really, really jerky. Have you seen some of there's some of the people that used like the technology that they used on the World War I films? That was actually Weta, right?
Oh, really? Yeah.
To smooth them out.
Okay. Yeah.
Smooth them out. Slow down the speed, make them look real. And they did a whole movie about World War I, using those films. Well, that technology has now been applied, and you can see it on the net in smoothing out some of the Sinbad things.
Right.
And the thing is people say, "Oh, well, it's a little disconcerting when you know that they're flying around like this, and they're it's smooth, and you go, man, for some reason it just completely loses the magic."
Yeah, like think about King Kong and what's the one with the dinosaurs? I can't remember the one where it's all stop motion basically. It's dinosaurs.
Oh. Well, yeah.
That's part of the charm especially with King Kong, it's part of the charm is that it's so jerky.
Oh, yeah, is how that motion. I can't imagine what any of that stuff would look like if you smoothed it out. And luckily I don't have to, because I've seen the whole. What it does is it looks like really bad CGI.
Well, this was in '92, so if they would have gone really CGI heavy,
Yeah.
this wouldn't have looked very good.
Yeah. Then at the same, yeah. We've only done like 7 of these, right?
7 of what? Of Evil Dead's?
Of these reviews, because
Right.
that's how far back I remember.
That's about. Well, I was having trouble remembering since I watched Evil Dead like 2 nights ago, or Army of Darkness 2 nights ago. I was having trouble remembering details today, and I'm like, that was only 2 days ago.
I know.
And if you look back through all the ones we reviewed, I'm like, I don't remember even talking about that one. Okay.
I mean, absolutely. Unless it stands out, unless you get by a fish.
Well, I feel like a goldfish.
And here's the amazing thing is I remember the one that the fish a woman. I even remember the shape of his little penis. I can't remember the title of the film. I know that it was done by the same director as we're going to be talking Guillermo del Toro.
Yes.
But you see, my memory has all kinds of holes in it, and those holes are called Dream Warrior Review.
Swiss cheese holes. Well, whatever. We haven't. I don't think we reviewed the same movie twice, but it'd be really funny if we did. And see if our review is like completely the opposite.
Didn't realize it halfway through. How many of these things have we done?
No, actually, I don't think there's any chance of that because we go from all the way from the early 1900s to current day.
It's dizzying.
What would you rate this? I don't think we've rated it.
Oh, guy, I loved it. I liked it so much. I want to rate it as a 4, which it really surprises me. I mean, I have. It's not that I've avoided this film. It's just like you. I just never really got around to it.
I don't know what I rated Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2. I don't remember, but I think this is, for me, it's a little bit higher than a 4, like a 4.2
Really?
at least.
I thought it was. I thought it was absolutely kick in the pants. I think that one of the biggest problems that people had with it originally was probably just pure expectation.
I want to go back and watch some of the critic reviews because I'm curious to see what they say. Because I do remember I think I used to watch Siskel and Ebert pretty religiously back then.
Well, I think that it was so different from the Evil Dead. I just think that the audience just had this massive expectation, and in that expectation was just a hollow.
Well, for me, my expectation was...
The film was over there.
I want to see Bruce Campbell acting weird, and that's what I got. So there you go. I'll watch Bruce Campbell in anything, really. I mean...
I want to know what happened to the car.
Exactly. Actually, I was wondering about that, and I was wondering how the chemistry book...
Yeah, there were things that were left as like well, and we didn't see exactly how he got back. He was just back,
right?
I was just curious about that. It's like, well, what are the mechanics of that? Oh, he's back.
Well, but you had to cut it for time.
Yeah, I did totally enjoy it though. I really did.
Well, that was easy, but see, we agreed too much.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to disagree with you on the next one, just to be. I hated it. I loved it. We'll see what happens.